And welcome to the first ever Amibros Podcast. I'm your host, John Papi, and my co-host, the sexy Eric, the Asian cowboy. How we doing? How we doing, Eric? How you feeling? You pumped?
Feeling, I'm so pumped. Feeling great today. Had a good day at work, and I was
Nice.
excited all day today. I was thinking about doing this. I was like,
Nice.
6:30, 7 o'clock comes around. It's game time, baby. Let's get it.
Let's go.
Let's
We've been
go.
we've been talking about this for how long now?
Probably a month and a half, 2 months.
Pretty good while. Yeah, that's pretty good
Yeah.
while, right? So and we decided to finally pull the trigger and here we are. This is awesome. Yay.
Yay.
So like I said, my name is John. I am your boy from New Jersey, moved to South Florida. This is Eric, also from Jersey, moved to South California,
SoCal, West Coast.
SoCal, baby. And we're just some good guys, some best friends from high school. We met in freshman year. I was the new kid in town. Eric was always there. And Eric, tell the people how we met. Tell the best stories.
All right. Now let's date back to well, 13, 14 years.
1995. No, I'm just kidding.
Nah, you were born
What
then,
was it?
not high
20,
school.
what was
So
it, 2010? That was the
2010.
freshman. Wow.
2010. 15 years ago.
Damn.
Crazy how fast time flies, man. Like,
Yeah.
you meet people in your life, and it's like, I think it'd be long-term buddies or just, dudes or gals that I chill with here and there, but, John's a real one. And, first time I met this fool, um, full disclosure, I thought he was black. And I felt bad. The school we
You
went to
felt
was,
bad because I was black.
no, I didn't feel bad that you were black. I felt bad because I felt like no one was your friend. And
Yeah.
when I first met you in social studies, back when history was called social studies, um, I just saw him like no one talked to him before class or after class or nothing, and I was like, "Damn, dude, that sucks." Like, and the school we went to was predominantly white, Italian neighborhood, and I've dealt with bullying
Jewish,
myself,
Italian,
Jewish,
yeah.
Italian, yeah, and
Caucasian.
I've dealt with bullying uh, pretty severely when I was in kindergarten until third grade. So I always told myself like, hey, if anyone needs a hand or a friend or something, I will do my very best to be the one to be that guy. So here comes John, and I saw him. I'm like, you know what? I want to say hi to him. And I think what triggered me first was the fact that he had a Boston Red Sox shirt on, and baseball is what kind of brought us together. And between the lines and off the field is where the glue stuck, and been best buds since. But yeah, I just kind of went up to him and I was like, "Hey man, like you like baseball?" And he goes, "I love baseball." I'm like, "Oh no way, me too." And I was like, "Well, tryouts in a couple months. Like if you need someone to have a catch with, like I'll be your guy. Let's warm up together." And then not even a week later, and in his apartment meeting his family, and that's all she wrote.
That's true. It's so, dude, it's so interesting how like people become friends. Like off of just like an act of kindness because he was just like, yo, who's this kid? Who's this black kid? Who's just
Why is he
chilling out?
alone?
Why is he alone?
I'm gonna
Um,
desegregate this classroom, make him a
yeah.
buddy.
No, when we're literally our high school was like 95% Caucasian, and then like the other 5% was like Asian, Black, Hispanic,
Yeah,
whatever else, the other category.
yeah.
But um but yeah, man, it was great to have Eric come up to me and just be like, "Yo, what's good, dude?" That's how it all started, man. I mean, we just like we hit it off then, and then we've just been friends ever since. Um, it's been 15 years, man. 15 long ass, dude, over a decade, close to 2 decades of
Yeah,
friendship. That's crazy. They say friendships that last 7 years or more will last an entire lifetime, which I think is true because look at us here today. We're still here. I have some homies from middle school, from grade school, from kindergarten. Only a few, a handful that I still keep in touch today. That's over 20 years of friendship. It's crazy. But
yeah,
I truly believe that statement for sure. Um,
and it's just a simple hello can go a long way,
mhm.
and if God willing, it becomes a lifelong friendship, and if it doesn't, it is what it is. I believe that most relationships, whether it's girlfriends, wives, boyfriends, whatever you're into, friendships, they're not meant to last. Like, think about how many people you've come in contact with in your entire life, and how many do you actually talk to on a daily basis. The ratio is crazy. Um, so that's why when you find the real ones, your brothers, your sisters, the family that ain't really your blood, but you'll die for, it's important to, you know, understand the value that other person brings, and you reciprocate the value, the respect, the loyalty, the all that good stuff, and you're in a nice little recipe of a buddy for life or a friend, female friend for life, whatever. Um, but yeah, it all comes down to what I believe is trust, communication, and respect. Those three fundamentals right there is what is the foundation to healthy friendships, relationships in general.
Yeah, I agree with that. Trust, communication, and respect is it's the fundamental recipe, the ingredients that you need to make a good friendship and a long-lasting friendship for
Hmm.
sure. So, all right, let's get into it a little bit. So, a little bit about you, Eric. Tell the people about yourself.
Yeah, as John already mentioned, I'm from the East Coast, Jersey, and been there 26 years and moved out to California and just kind of started a new chapter in my life. Out here, it's very, besides the weather, it's not very different. You're gonna meet people who are cool. You meet people who are, not so nice. Um, but that's just how it is. Not every person you meet is gonna be your best friend for life, like my buddy old pal. Like, no. But it's been pretty cool experience. Been lucky enough to travel California a little bit. I don't know if you want to call it Central California. I don't know if that's a proper term, but like I went up north, but not as far up as San Francisco. I've been down south near the border. That's actually where I work, so I go there 5 days a week. And I work as a plumber in a union, so that's kind of cool. Um, I love baseball, I love sports. I think sports are a great way to build friendships and really test your what's the word, resiliency,
Yeah.
especially in baseball. We'll get into that later. Um, Other than that, like, oh, the cowboy thing, I probably should talk about that.
Yeah, tell them about the
Not,
cowboy thing, man.
yeah, not many,
Dive into that.
not many Asians you see are in this type of getup, and
I don't think there's many. I don't think there's any
um,
at all.
so John will, vouch for me that I've always been a country boy at heart. Like, I've always loved country
Hmm.
music, loved the outdoors, hiking, camping, fishing, you name it. Like, well, not hunting. I've never done it. I might. I don't know. There's some ethics in there that I kind of like, but it's besides the point. And I love this country. I love this country, um, way more than I think an average person would. I think it is, in fact, the greatest country in the world. Although we do have our issues and there's things that can be addressed and improved, I still wouldn't live in any other country. I got the
Absolutely.
flag on my arm right here. And it has the quote that I actually mentioned earlier was, family ain't always blood, but the ones you're willing to bleed for. Um, we had the whole cowboy thing. So I moved out to California and met some friends. Some came, some have come, some have gone. It's just how it is. But one buddy, he told me, he was like, I'm gonna make you a Asian cowboy. And at first I was like, nah, like I'm not about that. Like I don't want to be fake to try to be popular or I bottom line is I didn't think it was me. And I always try to be true to myself. Like what you see is what you get, and if you don't like it, is what it is. If you love it, then awesome. But if not, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. An individual, he told me, look, being a cowboy ain't about the activities you do. Because I said to him, like, I don't rodeo, I don't farm, I don't bull ride, I don't do any of that. And he goes and says, being a cowboy ain't about what you do as activities, but it's how you carry yourself, your ethics, your morals, your respect, your standards, and things like that, your character. And he goes, you hit all those points to a T. Now it's time to look the part. And I was like, motherfucker. All right,
Yeah,
let's do it. Let's do it.
got you.
And
You got you on that.
I think I dropped about almost 2 G's a week later, and a whole wardrobe change. And this hat was 250. My felt
Yeah.
hat back there, that was 500. Cowboy boots were 230, 250. Um, yeah, spent a little bit of dough, but you know what?
Hey, but you know what? Worth it, right?
100%. Like,
Yeah.
there's a moment, I don't know if you ever had this, John, where it feels like enlightenment, where for me, I'm dressed up in my cowboy gear and I'm driving, on the highway toward a town called Hemet to get my car serviced. And
Hmm.
on the drive, it's like like a long plain, just flat land, and you see mountains and snow on top of the mountains. I got my country music blasting, and I was like, wow, this just
You
feels to me
feel
right.
you
It's
feel
like
like
content. It's that weird
it feels serene. It feels
hmm
like you're at like almost like you're at
peace.
peace. Like,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
you feel like you feel comfortable in your own skin type of
hmm
thing. And like,
Like after that, I was like, this is who I'll be the rest of my life, and I'm not gonna fight
that's
it.
it. No, I
So
love it.
thus the Asian cowboy is born,
Well,
reborn,
dude,
I guess.
I'll tell you this. Growing up with you, I'm just like, I never would have expected this like new self come about because I always saw you as like, okay, this is my boy. We like listening to hip hop. We like you know, going out, playing baseball, going to the movies, doing whatever, just
Yeah,
like, but
typical
not
shit.
like typical shit,
Yeah,
typical northern shit, like
yeah,
New Jersey, whatever, and not country stuff. But dude, I find it so amazing that you like picked up this whole new like
persona.
persona, right? And it's like, and it fits you so well, and it makes you feel good. And that's all I really, that's as
I
your
appreciate that.
brother, as your brother, that's all I care about. As long as it makes you feel good and you feel great every single time you wear a cowboy hat and embody the cowboy nature, I love it.
Love that. Thank you so much.
Of course. So,
I mean, we've gone fishing, we've done hiking, whitewater
yeah,
rafting. We've done it.
yeah. I mean, though I would. But is that really, is that like, would we label that as, as something as country, or is it just like because country is so outdoorsy that that could fall into that category?
I think it's what you just said, the latter. I mean, being country is very broad,
Hmm.
right? You can be country by being patriotic. You can be country by, going camping, doing a little bonfire outside. I think it's the sense of being outdoors. Don't
Hmm.
just stay inside all day and play with the iPad and video games. And look, that's great stuff. Like technology is very, very positive, but there are negatives to it. But for the most part, if you do it right, it's positive. But get
Yeah,
outside, man. Like fucking go play around golf. Go out and fish. Go for a walk. Go for a hike. Like it's very good for your mental health to disconnect and just go into nature every now and again.
yeah, yeah. I've been there before. Uh, Pops, he lives in Atlanta, so there's been a couple times we've been out on like countryside or in the mountains. And it's just so cool. Even on the lake, it's different. It's different than being inside in a dark room or eh, even just sunlight. Like being in South Florida, man, just when the sun peeks through the window, I'm like, damn, it looks so nice out. Or like when you see the palm trees just swaying a little bit with the sun in the back, it's just like, get outside, man. But anyways, going off that tangent. Um, a little bit about me. So I'm John. How you doing? Some people call me Papi. It's because I'm Latino. Uh, uh, I don't know what else to say, but um, my family's Dominican, and I grew up Latino. I grew up in New Jersey. A lot of Hispanics in New Jersey. Um, at least where I grew up in middle school, and then I moved to where we went to high school, which was predominantly white, Caucasian, Italian, Jewish. So Eric and I definitely grew up differently, right? So we grew up. Well, the way that I grew up was, a lot of like different flavors of life, a lot of dancing, a lot of partying, and not just like partying like to get drunk, but just partying to celebrate anything and everything. Like if you're listening to this and you're Latino, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But those who don't understand, everyone and anyone who's Latino is
Or
automatic, like will automatically be like your family. Like for example, let's say I meet Eric on the side of the street. I never met him before, and I'm like, oh, just like starting casual conversation. Oh, I like your shirt, man. And he's, oh, you too, you too. I'm like, where are you from? Oh, I'm from over here. Oh, I'm from over here. Oh, what's your background? Oh, I'm Dominican. What about you, man? Oh, I'm Puerto Rican. You're Puerto Rican. Oh, dude, my boy. And then you just, for whatever reason, you say one like a few random words in Spanish. I'm like, yeah, yeah, what's up, what's up? So it's like interesting to me when it comes to that type of culture, like the Latino Hispanic culture. We just tend to like latch onto each other because we all are kind of like the same. We have the same vibe, the same love, the same like rhythm, and it's a beautiful thing. And the best part about it is bringing non-Hispanic, non-Latinos into our culture. So, for example, Eric is learning Spanish a little bit, and
yeah,
we have this running joke, and we went with my mom. We we went we went through it with my mom, the joke. She didn't pick it up, but she thought it was hilarious. But Eric is funny when it comes to trying to speak Spanish. He'll just say anything random and make it sound Spanish. So
yeah,
for
that's pretty
example,
much
go ahead.
it.
Go ahead, Eric. Like for
So,
example,
well,
he so Eric,
John's
okay, for
mom,
example, go ahead.
John's John's mom, they also I consider her mother of my own as well. Um, I don't speak a lick of Spanish. I'm not saying I know any of it, but I know ingredients. So like, I told his mother, I was like, oh, hey ma, I say it like Italian way. I'm like, hey ma, like I speak Spanish now. And she's like, what? You really speak Spanish? I was like, yeah, like pico de gallo, carne asada, guacamole, patron,
Tac- Taco Bell.
Taco Bell, go get a yam.
Go
It's
get
just
yeah.
stupid. It's just
It's
stupid.
just stupid fun. But my mom was cracking up because she's like, "Oh my God, Eric, that's hilarious." Oh man. But um but yeah, so yeah, that's a little bit about me, my ethnicity, Dominican. We're fiery people. We like to dance. We're loud as fuck. We like to laugh. We like to welcome you in. And I'm actually happy that my parents are really good people because my mother accepted Eric with open arms. Like, she's like, she could have been like, who the fuck is this Chinese kid? Whatever. But she's
Yeah.
like, oh, hi, how are you? Blah, blah, ask some questions. Eric's an extrovert. He talks, he talks to my mom and whatnot, gets to know her. But I think my favorite story is when Eric was inducted into our family. So, in a
Yeah.
Hispanic household, most of you people might know, if you curse, you get reprimanded a little bit. You get a little pow pow, as they say. So we're walking in, we're talking, we're in the house, me and Eric were just chit chatting, and then he says like the F word or something. I don't remember, but
Yeah, it wasn't even hostile. It was just how I speak.
yeah.
My parents, well, side story. My parents, like, they got, mouths like a sailor. Like, and that's how I talk. And when I was 12 years old, something like that. My dad, I remember my dad trying to tell me, hey, you should watch your language a little more. I'm like, your mom curse all the time. He goes, right. He just walked away. Like, what
Yeah.
was he gonna say? I try not to curse too much. I mean, I do. I'm not saying I don't, but like I try to read the situation. Like, if I know there's like, people who might not like families, like at a restaurant. If there's families around, I'm gonna watch my mouth a little more because I don't want to make them uncomfortable or anything. But if it's just me and my boys, like, even in this
Yeah.
podcast, you're gonna hear language, you're gonna hear,
You're gonna hear shit.
you're gonna hear a
You're
lot
gonna
of shit. So,
shit,
please,
fuck, piss, dick, all that pussy,
yeah.
vagina. Well, that's not a bad word, but
But
whatever. You
but
know what I mean.
how we talk is how we talk, and if we do offend anybody, we do apologize, and just know that it's just me and my boy here talking and voicing our opinions. It's not
Yeah.
factual. Nothing we're saying here is factual. Um, but our ultimate goal here is to see where this goes. Like everyone's
Yeah.
doing a podcast these days, and basically how Amibros started was because me and John we talk a lot and almost daily, and we talk about deep conversations, and then we also talk about the dumbest bullshit you ever hear about.
Yeah.
And we're like, you know what? Let's record that shit and throw it up on a podcast. And we're like, fuck it, let's
Why
do it.
not? Yeah.
Um,
But anyways, what you were saying
so
about
so with cursing, right? So I'm at John's house and we're sitting at the dining room table. I think we're doing homework or whatever, and I was like, I don't fucking understand this. Like, whatever.
yeah,
And next thing you know, I get a bop right in the back of the head. And I look at
it's a
John like,
smack.
just
It was my
smack.
mom.
Nothing.
My mom just smacked him upside the head.
Yeah. And I go to John like, what the fuck was that for? And he's like, welcome to the family.
Yeah, plain and simple.
That's
Just been
it.
inducted right there. So, yeah,
But
no,
I
my
love, I
mom's
love, I love his family. Like they're my own. Like there's nothing I wouldn't do for him. His mom has been nothing but completely, sweet to me. Cooked for me. Even helped me with Spanish and Spanish class every now and again. Just a very great soul. Like, so God bless her heart always.
yeah, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it. But yeah, so that's kind of that's kind of us as individuals. I mean, you know my ethnicity. I'm like I said, I'm Dominican. Eric's Chinese and Italian. Um,
Two best foods.
three best foods: Chinese, Italian, and Hispanic food. Let's
Hmm.
talk about that. Put them in one pot. Um, but yeah, so I think Eric mentioned what he does for work. Plumber in the union, very hardworking, honest work type of guy. Honestly, I already know, Eric, you're gonna make so much fucking money because
One day, hopefully.
well, that and because there's a downfall in the amount of plumbers that we have in the United States, which is we can get into that another time, but um just any trade work is on the low. So Eric's in a good spot. I, however, am in sales. I'm in construction sales. So I sell material to contractors, general contractors, to different projects and things like that. That's my daily. Um, what would you say is one unique thing about yourself, Eric?
I think the cowboy thing covered it, honestly.
Yeah.
That would be it. Well, maybe like a fun fact about me is the only really Asian stereotype that I fall under is I studied martial arts for about 10 years. Um, and that's great. I think martial arts is a tremendous sport, whether it's kung fu. Well, I said kung fu first because that's what I did. But karate, jiu-jitsu, any of them. Like if you're a kid or you're a parent, put your kids through it. It teaches discipline. It teaches
Hmm.
hard work, time and effort, all great traits to have growing up and just instilling in them at a young age. Um, you know, it's just building that not tough skin, but that resilience. This life is, beautiful gift we have each and every day when we get to wake up. It's a beautiful gift, but it's very hard. Sometimes it's a curse for some people.
Hmm.
And that brings me to my next point is with this podcast is, if anyone needs to talk, feel free to comment in the comments and we'll reach out to you, however way you feel comfortable and we'll be happy to talk with you, be an ear. I'm blessed by powers above me to have a beautiful support system in my girlfriend, John, family. Um, Not many people get that. Some people have to
So,
go through this battle in life by themselves, and I can
yeah,
only imagine how difficult that is. So again, please reach out if you ever need anything. Just an ear to talk to. Of course, whatever you tell us will be fully private. We will not use it as content. We will not put you on blast. That's not what we're here to do. We're here to, you know, bring positivity to the world that's already so negative in many ways.
well said. Well said. Yeah, man, people go through a lot of shit every day. Um, like you said, Eric, we're blessed. We're blessed to be here. We're blessed to be doing a podcast. We're blessed to have a phone, a bed, food, a roof over our heads. There's people that don't have housing. There's people that don't have anything, no family. Maybe they have an addiction and they lost family, or they lost them in, and like let's say in another country in war, and bombings and just different things like that. And it's easier said than done to be like, oh yeah, I'm okay now. I'm not depressed anymore, right? I just thought about someone who just got killed in a different country who has no family anymore. Okay, I'm feeling better. It might help a little bit to put yourself in perspective, but again, people battle through shit every day, man. Like mental health is really crazy. It's on a rise right now.
Yeah. Isn't May mental health month? May?
May is
Look
mental
at that.
mental health month. Yeah. So, for the macho men who's going through shit and think that they can't, seek out for help. I'm gonna say this a little bit aggressively. Get over yourself and go seek help, man. Um, for those who are scared to seek help, it'll be fine. I promise you, I've been in a dark place. I'm sure Eric's been in a dark place and we figured it out. We've gone through therapy. It helps. Um, all you can do is try and try for yourself, not for anybody else. Who cares about what your friends think, what your parents think, what your girlfriend, your husband, wife, whatever. Do it for yourself. If it's gonna help you, do it. Do it, do it, do it. It's
Yeah.
so worth it. Life is so worth living for. There's so many beautiful things out there to experience and to try and to smell and to feel. And I'm getting passionate about it, but
No, it's
um
great. It's great because, you know, I, I, I've told John this and I've told our other friends this before when they're come to me for, advice or venting. I'm like, as simple as it sounds, is no one's going to look after you better than you look after yourself. Like, it's nice to have buddies and a strong support system. That's a huge plus. At the end of the day, you are all you got. That's it. Ain't no one gonna watch your back better than yourself. So, you know, sometimes you just gotta cowboy up and suck it up and go to that therapy meeting or go on that jog or, if you need to clear your head, go for that walk. Or, instead of staying inside playing video games all day or whatever you want to do, you know what? I'm gonna go out and toss a line and fish or fucking sit by the beach. Like even that is so therapeutic.
mhm.
Just take a second and breathe, man. Like,
Breathe.
that's a free gift. Is that breath of air you get every morning. Free
And
gift.
sun is free. Sun will boost your mood right away.
Oh,
Oh my
100%.
God. There's going to be so much science talk from, at least from my part, because I love science. I'm not a scientist, but I will refer to articles. I'll bring them in. I'm passionate about it. I love science-based things. But anyways, I don't want to get into it. Um, but yeah, mental health. I don't know how we got into it, but it's important. And it's Mental Health Month, so get your mind right for real. One unique thing about me. Um, It's a character trait that I have that I've noticed that people have told me also is that I'm very adaptable to many different people. There is actually a term for it. There's a word for it. It's called being interpersonally savvy, which means that I can relate to a lot of different characters or different people and just like make them feel welcome, I guess. Um, the reason I say that is because throughout college, I made a lot of friends, right? I made a lot of friends. Um, and the friends that stayed after college and stayed close and became best friends, one of them being my roommate, actually, he would always tell me, he's like, dude, we would walk by like down the hallway to the cafeteria, to the library, whatever, gym. And I would be like, oh, what's up, dude? Oh, hey, girl, how you doing? And this would happen every single day. It wouldn't be the same person either. And mind you, my buddy goes, dude, you're like the freaking mayor. Like you fucking know everybody here. I'm just like, yeah, I just talk to people. I relate to them. I don't know, whatever. So I think that's like the one unique thing about me. And it's so funny. It's like an ongoing joke. Everybody says, even after college, they're like, John, you know everybody. Like, even in a place that I wouldn't expect. Like, for example, I recently became friends with this guy at my local gym. And what are the fucking odds that this kid in Florida knows and went to high school and was on the same swim team as my best friend from middle school? Like, what are the odds? They went to high school together. Obviously I left my hometown back in New Jersey and went to a different town. That's where I met Eric. So, but my old hometown where I did elementary school, I had a group. I had at least five people that I still keep in touch with today. But mind you, back to the story, I met this kid. And he comes up to me, he's like, "Hey, you mind if I work in doing squats, whatever?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, come on, come on." So we just started hitting it off, and we're just talking about, working out and all that stuff. And those like memes that are like how guys become friends really fast. It was literally that. Literally the second day, I see him again. Oh, what's up, man? Oh, what's going on, dude? Blah, blah, blah. So, and then we just started chatting up again and just getting to know each other more. I'm just like, oh, dude, like he was telling me how he just moved from New Jersey to here about a year or two ago. I was like, oh, that's crazy. I'm also from Jersey. He's like, oh, no way. So then me being me, I was like, yo, let me get your Instagram. We exchange Instagrams and I see mutuals. I'm like, no fucking way. You're friends with one of like my childhood best friend. How is that possible? And he was like, dude, I was on the same swim team. She was the captain. I was like, what the fuck? Like the world is so small. Like from New Jersey all the way to Florida, meet some person. But yeah, I think that's like the most unique thing about me is like I'm really adaptable to a lot of different characters, and I would hope I can make someone feel comfortable in their own skin and relate to them. So,
I mean, that to me, that just
um,
sounds like, to me, it just sounds like you're really good at making a good first impression. Like first impressions are the most important, right? And
yeah,
you only get one shot. Who's yourself? John's favorite song.
it's my favorite
That he
song.
didn't really
One
know
of
doesn't really know the words
I
to.
don't even know the lyrics to, but it's a hype song. It's Eminem. It's Lose Yourself. Come on.
But yeah, your first impression is always the most important. My dad taught me that from a very young age, and it's like you never know who you meet. You don't know who you meet and who they know, right? So
That's true.
it's to me, it's very simple to be kind and respectful to other people. I'm not perfect. I have my moments, but try to
We
do
all have
that.
our moments.
Um, but although kindness and being respectful is pretty much should be a given, respect is earned. That's very different than being respectful.
100%.
Um, but John's my brother here, and now that you know a little bit about us, you can see that this relationship took it started off hot, and yeah, me and John have had our moments, and that's very normal to
We've had
have a
like
couple.
two. We've had
Yeah,
two.
barely, but like it's normal to
Barely.
have a couple speed
In our
bumps. But
15 year
Yeah.
relationship, friendship.
Um, but as long as you communicate, and things will be all right. And I couldn't ask for a better best friend. And I got a few best friends, but John's definitely top tier, top three, easy. Um,
Easy.
and speaking of brothers, this recent Saturday was actually National Brothers Day, and I don't have any brothers. I have sisters, like actually like immediate family, like my two older sisters, but two brother-in-laws. But my closest friends, Max, John here, Nick, my friend Nick. Well, I don't want to say his last name. My friend Nick, um, and Marcos, Albert, Jorge, Sandy. Like I can name them like that. And it's interesting how you talked about adaptability, and I talk to each and every single one of you a little bit differently. It's just so
Yeah.
strange, like when I talk to Max, it's pretty normal. I think is normal. And then when I talk to Sandy, it's like the most ghetto sounding conversation you'll ever hear.
Yeah.
Um, but I love them all to death, and they're my brothers. So happy National Brothers Day to all y'all.
Yeah, man. I do have a younger brother. I'm the oldest. I have a younger brother, so yeah, other than my actual blood brother, same with Eric. Eric is one of my best, closest friends that I don't call a friend. He's really just my brother. I even said it in the beginning of the podcast. My mom treats you like her own. Like it's it's a bond that you guys see a common theme here. We're talking about our friendship, right? So, but yeah, it's a bond that I'm glad that we have, and it's never gonna go away for
Fuck no,
sure.
fuck no.
Yeah, man. So, Eric, you being patriotic, talk to us about the most recent holiday that just passed.
National Brothers Day. No, I'm just kidding. Memorial Day.
Yeah,
Memorial Day is basically a holiday that um, pays tribute and honor to the fallen soldiers of our wonderful country. Um, they pay the ultimate price for our freedoms. Like I said earlier, that I love America. I think it's the greatest country, although there are, a laundry list of things that could be better. I think it's still great. And the reason I say that is because I've been blessed to be able to travel a lot due to my dad. He made pretty good money, and um, every year we go on a family trip. And I've been to, most of the Caribbean, China, Taiwan, Africa, um, Italy, Spain, France, just to name a few.
yeah, you name it.
Uh, but that was
Boys
just so,
Pitbull, Mr. Worldwide over here.
yeah. Uh, I don't know what to say to that. I was gonna try to say something in Spanish, but I ain't gonna do that. Um,
Pico de
mm,
gallo.
Chicken de gallo, carne asada. Yeah. Oh no, that's Little John. It's a side joke that one time. Anyway, not the point. Traveling. Now, I was able to
Yeah,
see the world and a lot of it. And, for example, Africa, right? I went to Tunisia, which is the top part of the African continent. And everyone was like, oh, this is a nice area, like blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, okay, let's see. It was absolutely awful to American standards. It was awful. Garbage in the street. I saw people defecating on the side of the road, pickpocketing, and just really bad. And that just, for me, I was 16 at the time. That really opened my Asian eyes to the fact that, like, how fucking lucky are we to be American citizens?
dude, we're so
Like,
lucky, man.
and from that point forward, I just told myself, like, dude, like, my absolute worst day, I can get laid off, my car can get repoed, whatever. Like, it could be an absolute dog shit of a day for me. To someone else, that's their best day. Having direct water to our sinks, a
Hmm.
shower, a hot shower, cold shower, food. Like the other day, I was out grocery shopping with my girlfriend at a Sam's Club, and I was like, that's so crazy to see how much bulk of food and stuff
It's
that we have,
crazy.
and like I doubt they ever sell it all. Right? Maybe some goes to waste, they expire, and they just throw it out or whatever. And I'm
I have a story about that once you're
like I'm
done.
just thinking, I'm just thinking to myself like, so we have all that food just stocked up at Sam's Club. Meanwhile, not just in other countries, but like in America alone, there's people starving every fucking day, trying to when's my next meal? And I'm
Yep.
like, why don't we just fucking whatever doesn't sell, if it's gonna expire within 3 days, fucking donate it. I mean, I don't know if they do. Maybe they do. I don't know. I don't know what they do. But yeah, man, like we're fucking blessed to be in this country, and because of the armed servicemen and women who lay their lives down, Memorial Day is for them, and they pay the ultimate price. I got a lot of friends who are in the military, and I see firsthand the PTSD that they face, um, and it's awful. And
Yeah, it's tough.
but the thing is too, it's hard to say. Like we can talk about this later on, the ethics behind certain things, like Vietnam War, Iraq, and after 9/11. We can get into all that another time, but it's just sometimes you question, is it right or wrong what we're doing?
Yeah.
You know, like I want to believe it's right. I want to believe that our fallen sisters and brothers, and that they died for something that was bigger than they are. But sometimes you see things in the news, and you see things that are very negative online and social media. Like, what the fuck? Like, you know,
Yeah, man. It is so eye-opening. Um, I was exposed to a little bit of like the difference in life that we live here versus a different country when I was younger. Um, like I said, my family's Dominican, and the Dominican Republic is a third world country. And now, growing up, my family would take me back and forth to the Dominican Republic. Um, as a kid, 4, 5 years old, I would do school over there in the summers, and I would learn, whatever. But I would see these kids. I'm just like, aren't these kids supposed to be in like school right now? But no, they have no shoes, tattered up clothing, and like just begging too. They're like, "Do you have money? Do you have food?" I was like, "I'm just a kid. I don't have anything."
I'm just a girl
So,
in a world.
s-
No, it's like, ah, ah, ah.
uh, like, what do I do? Like, but not like to be
But yeah,
serious.
no.
It's like, damn, like. I didn't understand it as a kid. I'm just like, oh shit, this kid has nothing. But now, as an adult, I'm like, fuck, like we're so blessed, and we complain about bullshit. And don't get me wrong, I fucking complain, but we complain about bullshit all the time,
Yeah.
man.
Bro, my
And
fucking steak's not cooked how I like it. Like
yeah,
stupid
like,
shit like that. You're
oh
like,
my God, like
you know,
fucking suck me off, dude. I don't like.
when well,
Um, you're not bros if you're not a little gay with your
no,
friend.
yeah, you can't do that.
Um. But yeah, man, like it's it's so eye-opening. Like I even like I have friends that come from other cultures too, like Brazil, same thing. There's a complete border in Brazil where it's like the rich and then the poor. And the poor side, some people might know it's called the favelas, right?
Hmm.
And like it's bad. It's bad in those areas. Like there's a gang stuff. There's gangs in the DR too. There's gangs in Haiti. There's, poverty um in the Middle East. Like I have Middle Eastern friends and they tell me like, dude, like sometimes like in this area it's like really nice where you have the city, but you travel down maybe 30, 40 miles west or east or wherever it may be, there's other countries bombing us and there's people without homes. And they don't know if they're going to survive another day. And that's happening now, still. Now. So it's 2020 fucking five. What are we doing? You know? So I think that's the one part. that might annoy Eric and I about um our patriotism. Yeah, Eric has definitely more patriotism than I do, but just saying that, that we love this country, that's where it comes from. That we're blessed. Although we might not agree with everything that the politics are spewing out today in today's age with past presidents, current presidents, I still can go to bed in 68 degrees temperature in my room. I just had a steak for dinner tonight. Um, I have a car that I can drive every day. Not only that, brand new car, 2025 Tesla. Nice. Thank
Oh,
you. Thank you, God, for blessing me. But like freaking Juanito in DR doesn't have that. Like Muhammad in the Middle East doesn't have that. Like we gotta count our blessings. I get it. The United States is very controversial right now, 100%. But we are a country that changes. And I think that's so beautiful because in the grand scheme of things, we have that as people, as US citizens, we have that ability to do that. I remember one time I dated this girl and she told me, like, she's like, I can't get behind uh being so patriotic or liking America. And I'm like, I get it. Like, I understand where you're coming from because of where you come from. But there's a whole different perspective. Like, you're allowed to work here. You're allowed to, as a woman, you're allowed to work.
get an
You're allowed to eat
education.
whatever you want, get an education, you have running water. Your your family came to this country and built themselves up. Your family has a business. Like, it's tough because we have politics ruining the name of this country. But what we've built so far has been amazing. Like, I have a lot of gay friends, right? And just recently, just in the Obama era, they're able to now get married legally. Before that, it was just like, mind blowing that they weren't allowed. Um, Women have more rights than ever nowadays. You know, People of color, blacks, Hispanics, Indian, anybody of color have more rights to this day. Um, and back then we didn't. There were slaves back here in the United States. We oppressed the Japanese during
Pearl Harbor.
my Pearl Harbor. Yeah, my American history is not great, but um
Here's the thing, though. It's like you
we're
get.
but my point is basically is we're like Plato. We can change any moment, either for the good or for the bad, but we have that ability to change. And while Eric tells this point, I'm gonna pull up a post that I posted back in 4th of July, I think it was like 2022, that really, I think, embodies what my patriotism is towards the United States and what the United States of America means to me. And I feel like it's true. I mean, it's my opinion, but I'm gonna pull it up while Eric goes.
While you go find that post, this is how I see things. I get I'm a cowboy, and people may think like, oh, redneck, racist, things like that, and that's all good and well. You have every right to your own opinion, but the way I see things for myself is, again, I'm not perfect, but the way I try to I guess ground myself with is I don't really care what politics you follow, who you love, what you believe in as far as religion. If you're cool with me, I'm cool with you. Like that's how simple it should be.
Yeah.
Do I get, judgmental sometimes, or if I feel disrespected, I get a certain way? 100%. But, you know, I do try to remind myself, like, look, you don't know what that person's going through. Maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe their parents just got divorced today. Now they're in a bad mood and they just happen to take it out on you. You don't know. And at the end of the day, you can only control what you can't control, and that's your attitude. And, you know, every now and again, I do have a shitty attitude, and I gotta work on that. But America, the beautiful thing that I see is you get what you put in. If you work hard, and you stay focused, and you do things the right way, you can make a name for yourself. Don't let anyone say that you can't. It's a land of
It's true.
opportunity, right?
It's
In the
true.
Constitution, it literally states every citizen in this country has the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That means
Amen, brother.
it's not guaranteed, but if you pursue it and you work for it and you do what you got to do, you will find it. I'm
Yep.
29 years old, and for the longest, I did not know what I was going to do with my life. Um, Jumping from job to job, you know, not really sure, but the union came through, and I'm blessed to have this potential, not potential, this will be a career for me. Um, and, you know, life will knock you down a million times. That just means you gotta get up a million one times.
That part.
My favorite city, Philadelphia, the city of underdogs, Rocky Balboa, fictional character, but he's very real in the eyes of Philadelphians, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, but one of my favorite quotes is, it's not about how hard you punch or hit. It's about how hard you
It's
can
not how
get
hard you
hit
get. Yeah.
and get back up. You
Yeah.
know, a beautiful cowboy saying is cowboy up. You know, just fucking dust off your boots and hop back on the pole, dude. You know,
Hmm.
you you lose when you give up. You might lose today, but we might lost this battle, but we're not losing the war. Like, that kind of mindset. Life will throw pieces of shit, bullshit, cat shit, dog shit, human shit at you every single
Whatever.
day. And you just gotta fucking dodge them and keep fucking going.
Or if you
It's,
get hit, wipe it off. Boom.
you get
Keep
hit,
fucking
maybe get
go.
some pink eye, you gotta get some drops, whatever. It's curable. You can just keep going. Um, but yeah, never give up. Never give up. It's,
Yeah, man.
you know, you gotta believe in yourself more than anyone believes in you. That's how you achieve greatness and success. And that's just a matter of perspective. What success to John is different than what success is to me. Um, but, you know, if you're going
And
through a tough time, you'll get there.
I think that's so powerful too, because going back to that Constitution, it allows people from all over the world to come to the United States and find that opportunity.
It's a
Like,
melting pot.
I want you to go to New York City and tell me how many American small business owners there are. You will probably find less than all other countries. There is a melting pot, like what he just said, of immigrants coming to America, starting a business, and literally jump-starting their life.
Well, this country was
Coming
founded on
from,
immigrants, you know,
exactly, coming from
Christopher,
somewhere,
Christopher Columbus, the Pilgrims,
yep,
Ellis Island, all
coming
immigrants.
from, yeah, coming from a place where they did not feel like they belonged or they needed to escape, right? We're talking about these immigrants to pursuing
The
the
American dream.
most, the best thing, yeah, the American dream, the best thing ever. Um, and I found that post that I had posted on Instagram back in 2021, 4th of July of 2021, and it goes like this. This is what I said. Oh, America, land of the free and home of the brave. This is not some bullshit political post, so keep your liberal and conservative shit to yourself. I don't know. I don't know why I was angry. Um, this is a post.
Who hurt
This is
you?
a post about. This is a post about the greatest country in the world. The reason I love this country so much is the way it has the ability to change. The fact that we had an enslaved race, now free, a time where women could not vote, now they can. The fact that gay marriage was illegal, now legal. The fact that we can march for equal rights, the way it was built and created by immigrants from all countries meshed into one. The change and creation. That's why I love this country so much. And of course, America's pastime, baseball. Hello. And although America is not perfect, because every country has its own shit, we are able to become whoever we want to be because of our freedom and our ability, and I wrote ability in all caps, our ability to change for the better. Happy 4th of July. So that was that. I think that still stands true today. Um, Politics will divide us. Differences will divide us
You know,
always.
it's interesting to think
But
about. I
it is what
remember
it is.
I remember posting something, and I don't know word for word, but I still find it like just mind blowing. You know, God forbid, you know, there's a tragedy, you know, Boston bombing or 9/11, something like the Pearl
Yeah.
Harbor, right? You see how unified everyone got. It didn't matter if you were a first responder or not. You were in that fucking building trying to get people out. You were trying to help people. You know, the greatest
Yep.
generation after Pearl Harbor, everyone, from kids to women to men, from factory workers, building things, going to work, whatever. That showed the true power of America because we are united. But then when these you know, these awful occurrences, events kind of subside over time, we go back to the division. And that
Yeah.
is what I don't understand is because like, if we have the ability to be one nation under God in like oh the Pledge of Allegiance, right? Or just look at the name, United is the first thing. United States of America. And whether it's politics, religion, um, whatever thing you want to use to, you know, build division between people, and we're right back into, you know, judging
We're
people,
back
not
right back into
accepting
the mess.
people, you know, and it's like, well, we've shown that we're able to be united. So why not try to do that 24/7, 365 days? Again, it's easier said than
Yeah.
done.
Keep it consistent.
But I mean, some of the most beautiful things is after a tragedy, you see Americans of all
Getting
cultural
together.
backgrounds banding together and fucking getting shit done.
Yeah.
But speaking of culture, though, like you know, food, you know, that's what you know brings people together. But John, you know, with his family, I've got to try some amazing Hispanic foods, and I don't even know the names of them. I don't know, pico de gallo, guacamole, something like that.
Pico de
Um,
gallo, guacamole,
but
Taco
it,
Bell.
but food, man, food is what brings people together.
Dude,
Now we all
dude,
got to eat.
and that's our next topic, food. Great segue. Um, what brings people together, like Eric said? Food. Eric, what's your favorite food? Top five, top four, top three, top three, top three.
Yeah, I love me a fucking bacon cheeseburger. You know,
Ah,
it hits different.
yo.
Steak medium rare. If you get it well done, uh, no words, just medium rare. Um, Chinese food's bomb. The best Chinese food is my mom's. Uh, Fried rice, lo mein, her Chinese spare ribs are just fucking out of this world. I'd say my late grandmother who passed away, her lasagna was the best lasagna in the fucking world. I mean, everyone says, "Oh, my grandma makes the best cookies, my grandma makes the
Right.
best this," but for me, my grandma's lasagna is top of the world. So that's four. And I'll say sushi, dude. Sushi slaps sometimes. Not gonna lie.
Dude, not gonna lie. I agree with that. But I'll give you my top five. Top five. Okay. Obviously, I gotta say Dominican food. It's staple. I grew up with it. And you know what? I think I have a thought on that about like what you said. Oh, my grandma has the best lasagna. I think it's because of the memory it brings back. I think that's why it tastes good. It's a connection
Yeah,
to your heart,
yeah.
right? And connection to
It's
your heart and to your mind and to your taste buds. But
it's some of my
but
best
yeah,
memories is, you know, sorry to cut you off, but my sister Angela, she makes
yeah,
amazing food. And like sometimes, you know, I just think of just going to her house. She made dinner. I'm eating, we're all bullshitting, chatting, laughing, and
Yeah.
all around the food. You know, kind of like the Disney movie Ratatouille. The
Yeah.
guy ate the Ratatouille dish, and his mind went
Yeah, and he
straight.
has like the
Yeah,
vision. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. That was
Uh,
so. I think Disney depicted that perfectly because that's exactly what it is. But back to my list: Dominican food, Italian, but like authentic Italian. Like I've been to Italy twice. Gosh, let me tell you something. That's the story for another podcast episode. Italian food, Chinese food, 100%. I'm gonna say Mediterranean. So it could be Greek, Arabic, those flavors. Very, very, very delicious. And then, man, I love sushi, dude. Sushi's so good.
I can't
Like
say.
just the raw.
What about barbecue? Some fucking smoked brisket, dude.
Uh it's delicious. Don't get me wrong. But I feel like those top five go above it,
Yeah.
you know?
What's the weirdest food you ever eaten?
The weirdest food?
I got you beat.
You got me beat. Oh man, dude, I don't know. I think the weirdest food I've ever had, I can't think of any at the moment.
For me, it'd be squirrel and jellyfish.
Squirrel,
Squirrel.
jellyfish. Hey, Krabby Patty. What? Well, how? Okay, talk to me about that.
So squirrel was at a ex-girlfriend's family's like game dinner night. Like her father would go hunting with all his buddies, and they'll bring back food and they'll prepare it like a normal dish. It wasn't like a squirrel on a stick. It was made
Mm,
into empanadas, and I had like six of
interesting.
them. And I was like, "This is really good. What is this?" Like, "Oh, that's squirrel." I was like, "Hmm, what?" Delicious.
Huh,
Um,
Sandy?
jelly. No,
Dude,
not
you're
Sandy.
naming a lot of SpongeBob things. Jellyfish, squirrel.
Jellyfish was at a Chinese restaurant, but I'll never have that again, just because not for
Dude,
me.
I don't know. I don't know what's the most interesting food I've ever had. Well, we'll put a pin in it, maybe if it comes up in my head. But the other thing about food is interesting. It's like, and this is scientific, your taste buds change over time. I think it's like every 7 to 10 years. And I was telling Eric, I was like, like I used to not like Indian food at all. Like I didn't like the smell, I didn't like the taste. I just couldn't get enough, like I couldn't get like a grasp of it. One day, I went with some buddies during college to an Indian restaurant. I was like, okay, they have rice there and like chicken. I'll try that. Dude, and I went. Something in there changed. It was very authentic. Um, the smell, I smelled like so many different spices and like unique smells. And then I just had my friends order. I'm like, you order, I'll eat whatever. They had the naan bread, they had the rice, they had this chicken, they had this chicken, they had these veggies. I couldn't even tell. I couldn't even name what we had for dinner. But bro, when I tell you the combination of flavors and the myriad of like scents and smells and like textures, I'm like, man, I've been missing out on Indian food. This is crazy. Um, and that brings me to like other cultures. It's just like, man, what other cultures' food have I been missing out because I'm like, no, I don't want to try it. And mind you, I didn't grow up picky. I just grew up liking what I know.
Comfort,
Comfort,
your comfort
absolutely.
zone.
So I started trying more things. I started trying more like Mediterranean food, Indian food, soul food, like even like like Jamaican, Haitian food, a lot of different cultures. And everybody has their own like hitter, right? That one dish that hits, man. And since then I just became a foodie, man. Like now I'm excited to try anything and everything, and even dining experiences like for example, like the most unique and posh dining experience I've had was omakase. For those that don't know, omakase is Japanese. It's a Japanese like traditional way of eating where it's like a private chef and you get like only like 5 to like 8 people in one room and you sit at a bar and he carefully curates like the sushi, um, and you only get one piece, but it's like 25 different pieces of sushi that you're gonna get in that one sitting. And you compare it with like a Japanese beer or sake. There's a lot of different ways of this experience, but definitely a unique experience. Don't guard yourself. If you're picky, slowly try starting to eat different things because you're gonna be surprised at what different flavors are out there. What do you
No,
think,
for
Eric?
sure. I agree. I mean, you can't knock it till you try it, you know? Easier said than done, obviously, but
Yeah,
once in a while, try to step out of your comfort zone, whether it's food, music, or life experience. You know, you only live once, so give things a try. Um, but yeah, I mean, food's great. Food's great.
I love it.
Um,
Yep.
I was trying to
But
think,
yeah,
like, oh, sorry, go.
I still can't. No, I was gonna say I still can't pinpoint what unique food that I've had.
You know
I
who's
feel like I
really
ate a
unique?
bug.
Ew,
Oh,
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is the GOAT. Mission Impossible. What is it? Final Reckoning that just came out.
Yep,
Uh, so to brush up on our last topic here, Tom Cruise. What an interesting individual. I don't know how many Oscars he's won for his acting. Has he won any Oscars? Do we know that?
I have no idea.
Anyways, Tom Cruise. I was telling Eric about this story that I saw about him and how he saved Hollywood with a lot. And I saw this story on Complex. So shout out Complex for dropping the story. Um so basically, and I'm gonna read it here. He This was during the COVID era, not too long ago, 5 years ago. And basically, COVID shut everything down, as we know, shut down filming production as well. So people weren't making movies. And if they were, I mean, they barely made anything, or they were just releasing what they've built slowly so that they can get through the years. Tom Cruise, an innovator, an expert at anything that he tries, he was like, fuck that. We need movies back. We need people back in the theaters. We need to get shit going. So right here, he decided to trick Hollywood by calling different production companies and studios, and saying like, hey, like he called a rival studio and say, hey, um, what's going on in your guys' world? What's going on over there? And they're like, oh, we're shutting down. We're gonna put this thing on pause because the whole world is on pause. And he goes, oh wow, that's interesting. We're making our movies. Bold face lie. Bold face lie. He's like, we're making our movies. And then it was like he planted a seed there. He's like, let's see what I can get out of this. Let's see if people are gonna start making movies so we can bring shit back onto the screen, big screen. Um, and then he later followed up with that bluff with his own studio. And he was telling his studio, like, yeah, like our rival studios making movies. Like, if they're making movies, why should we stop? Let's fucking go. Let's start. Let's fire up the engine. Let's warm it up. Let's start. Let's go. So that trickled into a snowball effect, which other production studios started hearing this. And they're like, oh, there people are making movies, people are making film and shows. Why should we stop? We should just keep going.
Yeah,
And
it seems like he basically bluffed his
he
way
created
through.
he created momentum.
Yeah, and that's what we needed. Like the world stops. We can't. We got great thing about movies is it takes people away from reality, right? The hardship and the disaster of a pandemic that we had. People needed movies more than ever to give them happiness, laughs, cries, just disconnect from the world a little bit. Obviously, 6 feet apart, wear a mask, do it safe. But, you know,
Hmm.
what he did was kind of like how sports brings people together. After 9/11, after the Boston Marathon bombing, Dave Ortiz's famous speech at Fenway, like sports brought people together. Well, Tom Cruise right there brought people together through film.
He he
um,
brought he brought the light back when
yeah,
there
no,
was
for sure,
darkness.
for sure. Um, yeah, I mean, fucking Tom Cruise, man. He
Tom
never
Cruise,
ages.
generational actor. You've seen him in everything, and he's perfected it to his best abilities. And because of his bluff, because of his lie, he gave us one of the best movies that came out. Um,
Top Gun Maverick.
Top Gun Maverick. He filmed
Love
that
that
during
movie.
he filmed that during during COVID. Uh, I also read that he made sure all health protocols were in
We're followed.
place,
Yep.
were followed at government standards. He paid everyone. Everyone had a job. One of the
Yeah.
goats, and that brought back theaters because for a good while theaters were shut down. AMC's um stock was going down. Like that was a whole other thing, and
Yeah.
um even Steven Spielberg, highly regarded filmmaker,
Director.
um, director, said Tom Cruise saved Hollywood. And that's a sick story.
It
That's
was
so sick.
a real life Mission Impossible in a way.
Yo, that was awesome. That's cool.
But
I like how you
yeah.
closed that. I liked how you closed that. That was awesome.
Um, but speaking of closing, thank you guys for tuning in to the first ever Amibro podcast. Me and
Yeah.
John here, as you know, have been best buds for a very long time.
Our time's up.
And we're here to spread positivity and make people laugh, maybe give a little insight through our opinions, not fact. I think this could be something that, watch us grow from, day one to however long this is. And I hope it's a lifelong, um, I guess, tradition that me and John will do. Hopefully, when time's right, me and John can meet in person and do a live broadcast and maybe
It'll
even
happen.
vlog some of our baseball trips and things like that. But keep in mind again, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and feel free to tune in every other Thursday for the Amibro podcast. Love you guys.
Love you guys. Take care.